Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another walk around. This time I am joined by the brand new Nissan Juke. As always, I will take you around the car, talk you through the specification and also give you my first impression. So yes, here we are, the brand new second generation Nissan Juke. Like quite a few people, I was far from a fan of the styling of the first model. I thought it was quite ugly and had looks that even a mother would struggle to love, but that is merely my opinion. Design and styling is always subjective, but I think the new car looks so much better. It looks more aggressive, more stylish. So the new car is available in a choice of 6 trim levels and the prices range from £17,860 all the way through to £24,460. The car you see before you is the Tekna Plus, which is one below the range-topping Premier Edition. So the 6 trim levels you have in total, you have the Vizier, Ascenter, N-Connector, Tekna, Tekna Plus, and the Premier Edition. I think I've done pretty well to remember all of those. This car is finished in the Fuji Sunset Red, what a great name by the way, paintwork, along with the pale black roof, and I think this is a very nice colour. It can look a bit orangey, particularly when the sun hits it, and it can look more like a burnt orange compared to a red, but I do like the colour all the same. As standard, this model comes with 19-inch alloys, which look pretty sharp and stylish. They are a two-tone finish. As you can see, you've got the diamond cut silver and the black finishing. Rather nice. LED headlights come as standard, but even the base model, the Vizier, even that comes with LED headlights, which is pretty impressive. But that's starting to become a little bit more common in the car market, the base models having LED headlights. So I think in 5 or 10 years, I think LED headlights will almost be a given, like remote central locking or air conditioning, that kind of thing. I also get tinted rear windows. And yes, on the whole, I think the Juke is a good looking car. And I never thought that sentence would make its way out of my mouth, but Nissan, I must admit, you've done very well with the second generation Juke. The interior is also very pleasing. Keyless entry comes as standard, but the car is already unlocked. Now, one of the first things to strike me about the new car, well, the outside styling was one of them, but the second thing I should say was the interior design. I think it looks really upmarket, and in all honesty, I wouldn't expect this kind of finish from a Nissan Juke. And that's not an insult, that's just merely my opinion, but you've got plenty of Alcantara on the dash, on the seats, and also on the door cards. The seats are also trimmed with leather, and you have the Juke badging there, very nice. You also have the Bose speakers on the outside of the, of the headrests. And of course you have a steering wheel trimmed in leather. Let me step into the car and I can show you more of the interior. Close the door like so. Now I really like this Alcantara panel on the dash. It feels upmarket, it feels premium. And as I said, I wouldn't really expect this level of finish in a Nissan Juke. So again, Nissan, you've done well here. Even the fake carbon fibre looks classy, and I think, in my opinion, it's really difficult to get fake carbon fibre to look good. Normally it looks quite cheap and nasty, but I think because it's more of a satin finish, it actually looks quite classy. I wouldn't say it looks real, but it's not a bad effort, it really isn't. So you've got it surrounding the instrument cluster, and you also have it surrounding the cup holders down here, and also around the start-stop button. So I actually think it looks quite good. A little bit out of place, but I wouldn't say it looks cheap or tacky. Let me turn on the ignition actually. So start-stop button. So as standard, I have an 8-inch touchscreen with DAB radio, Bluetooth, navigation and smartphone connectivity. I don't have a digital dash, but I do have a digital display in the middle and analog speedos on the left and right hand side. There we go, turn it on like so. Climate control also comes as standard, as well as heated front seats. Actually, in fact, nothing on this car is really optional apart from the paint. So everything you see inside this car is standard, which is quite impressive. I also get a reversing camera, front and rear parking sensors, and look at that I also get Nissan's around view monitor. So if you're not very confident with parking or you need that extra bit of assistance, that will come in extremely handy. I'm sure you'll agree. The inside, there's not too many buttons on the actual dash, but I do think there's quite a lot going on the steering wheel. So when you first get in, I wouldn't say it feels overwhelming, but you kind of think, blimey, do you really need all those buttons on the steering wheel? So some of you may like it, some of you may loathe it. I'm not a massive fan, but once you get used to the car, it's relatively easy to use. There we go. Oh, come on, focus. Perfect. So I have a 6-speed manual gearbox at my disposal. There is also a choice of a 7-speed dual clutch unit, an automatic, unlike the old car, which had to make do with a CVT. And I'm not a fan of CVTs. I'm yet to drive a CVT car that actually feels pretty decent. Most of them are pretty rubbish. But anyway, those are my opinions. Let's talk about the practicality of the inside. The door bins are of a decent size. I've got a bottle in here that's 750 millilitres with a bit of space left over. There's a cubby down here where you can pop your smartphone or perhaps your wallet or any other small items. And you may have spotted you have a USB port, an auxiliary port, and a Ferrari 812 Superfast just went by. Very nice. And you also have a 12-volt socket. 2 cup holders in the middle, which you would have seen briefly earlier. There we go. You have some storage underneath the centre armrest, which is also finished in Alcantara. Very comfortable, very plush. As you can see, I've got my lunch in there. And of course, you do get a glove box, which when you first open it, it looks pretty big, but it isn't. I wouldn't call it small. I'd say it's about average. As you can see, I've got my packet of crisps in there and the owner's manual. So yeah, that is a decent size. Let me take that out so you can get a better idea of how big the glove box is. Yes, it's a fair size. I think that's the best way of putting it. Now, thankfully, the new Nissan Juke has a steering wheel that not only adjusts for rake, but wait for it, it adjusts for reach as well. Now, you may be wondering why I'm making such a big thing of that, but the old Nissan Juke, the steering wheel only adjusted for rake. So it would go up and down, and that was it. So if you were someone that was quite fussy with your driving position, that was going to be a bit of a disappointment. But thankfully, Nissan has addressed this issue for the new car. The driver's seat also has a good level of adjustment as well. So I would be surprised if you can't find a comfortable setup in the Juke. Another complaint of the old car, actually let me turn the ignition off because I don't really need it on anymore. Oh, I forgot to mention, you have D mode. So you've got 3 driving modes. You have normal, sport or eco. They're pretty self-explanatory, aren't they? Let's turn it off. Come on, turn off. Oh, I'll just leave it to do its thing. The ignition doesn't want to turn off for some reason. Yeah, another complaint for the old Juke was lack of rear space. Again, this has been addressed for the new car. So if I step in like so, before I do so, I want to say what I always do. As always, the driver's seat has been set for me. I'm 6'2" for those of you that don't know, so I am of course a taller chap. Let me step in like so, take the weight off my feet and close the door. So I wouldn't say legroom is amazing, but I'm sure it's better than the last car. And I do have enough space back here. Knee room is, I've got a few millimeters left over, and legroom is pretty good. I can't fit my feet underneath the seat in front of me properly, so there's something stopping me. There's like a unit or something under the seat, but the driver, to be fair, the driver's seat is set to its lowest, so if I had it higher, I'm sure that wouldn't be an issue. Headroom is quite tight though, I must admit. So, as I said, I'm 6'2", and my hair is brushing the roof lining, so if you are a taller person, you may find the back of the Juke a bit cramped. You may also find it a bit dingy as well because you have this dark roof lining, which does give the inside more of a sportier, premium feeling. Sorry, I have to turn you around. Look at that, another 812 Superfast going by. Oh, hello. Now, I don't know what's going on, but that pack of Superfasts have been going backwards and forwards, so I'm not too sure if they're doing testing or something. Anyway, sorry, I digress. I thought I had to show you that. Some of you probably couldn't give a monkey's about a Ferrari 812 Superfast. Anyway, yes, some of you may find the back of the Juke a little bit dingy or claustrophobic because you do have this black roof lining and the rear windows aren't that big and they kind of taper towards the end. So yeah, you may find it a little bit, you may feel a little bit hemmed in. Now, could you fit 3 adults in the rear? No, I don't think you could, but the same could be said for quite a few small crossovers, so I'm not really going to complain about that. But of course, if you want to, oh, sorry about that. Oh, little malfunction there of my tripod. Sorry. So if you wanted to fit child seats, then you do, of course, have ISOFIX points. In regard to practicality, you do, of course, have a door bin where you can fit a bottle and you do have a bit of space left over, perhaps some chewing gum or something. You have a little cubby down here, which is fairly decent, and you also have a USB port underneath that flap there. If I just lift it up like so. And you do also have map pockets as well, in case you want to need them. You have a hook this side if you want to hang up an item of clothing. Let me just get my camera work sorted out. There we go. But strangely, you don't have one on that side, which is a little bit odd, but never mind. Once more, you've got Alcantara on the door cards. Again, really adding to a nice premium finish. Okay, that's kind of hard, scratchy plastic, but I'm not too fussed about that in all honesty. Another complaint for the last Juke was its rather tiny boot. This is another area where Nissan has improved. So the new car offers 422 litres with the rear seats up. The boot floor is adjustable as standard. I've got it set to its lowest, so it just gives me more space. But if you want to have a boot floor that is more flush with the of the boot lid, so not lid, lip, sorry, then you can bring it forward. So if you want to load bigger, heavier items or perhaps dogs, it should be easier to do so. If you want more space, you can, of course, fold down the 60/40 rear seats to give you 1,305 litres. So the boot is improved. It's not the biggest in its class, but I'm sure you'll agree it is pretty respectable. The entry for the boot is quite nice and wide, so loading things in should be pretty easy. Right, close the boot down like so. And let's finish by talking through the engine. Now, interestingly, and to some maybe annoyingly, there's only a choice of one engine at this moment in time for the new Juke. There won't be any diesel engines, so if you want a diesel, you can't have any. And the new Juke will be front wheel drive only, so if you're looking for a four wheel drive option, then again, you can't have that. The engine I do have at my disposal, once I lift up the bonnet, which is always fun and tricky to do with one hand. There we go. So this is a 1 litre, 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol. It offers 117 horsepower, along with 200 Newton meters of torque. Let me just pop up the support for the bonnet before my arm cramps up. Now, I'm sure many of you will not be concerned about the performance this car offers because this is a practical family, well, small family SUV. But in case you are, this will hit 62 miles per hour in 10.4 seconds, and the top speed is 112 miles per hour. Not that you're really concerned about the top speed anyway. What you are probably concerned about is the fuel economy. So on a combined run, Nissan states this car can offer up to 45.6 mpg, and in my experience I've been getting low 40s, so pretty respectable. And in regard to CO2 emissions, this engine emits 118 grams per kilometre. Not too sure if I mentioned it earlier, I think I may have done, but although there's only a choice of one engine, there is a choice of gearboxes, so you can either have a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed DCT. I'm pretty sure I did mention that though. There will of course be a full review coming with this car, but in the meantime, if you have any questions or queries, please drop them in the comment section below and I will answer them as quickly as I can and to the best of my ability. But let's have one more look at the brand new 2nd generation Nissan Juke before I sign out. And it's very lovely Fuji sunset red, although as I said earlier, I think I may have said it earlier, when the sun hits it, it does look a bit more like a burnt orange, particularly on camera. But guys, what do you think of the new car? What do you think of the styling? Do you think it's better or dare I ask, do you think it's worse? Like, personally, I don't think it could be any worse than the previous car, but you never know. Oh, classic Mini. Oh, there's Triumph Stag coming in as well. Lovely. Oh, that's lovely. Sorry, I'm just, all of a sudden it's turned into car spotting. Oh, another classic Mini. Oh, that is glorious. Any more? No, just a Fiat 500X, whatever it is. Anyway, sorry, before I get completely sidetracked, I think it's time for me to finish. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you've enjoyed it or you found it useful or interesting. If so, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.